Welcome to the podcast From Coffee to Cases, the show for small law firm attorneys who want to stop begging for leads and start building a business that runs on referrals and real relationships.
Hello and welcome to From Coffee to Cases with Delisi Friday. Delisi founded First Call Friday to help lawyers grow through meaningful connections, not mass marketing. A top performing legal content creator on LinkedIn, she teaches simple systems that help law firms stay visible, valuable, and referable. My name is Kevin Rosenquist, and today we're talking about one of the simplest referral systems out there, regular check-ins. Delisi, welcome back.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Seems simple, right? Check-ins, but it's not as simple as it sounds, because it's one of those things you got to actually make time to do. So why are these check-ins sort of the secret weapon for great referral marketing?
Sure. So check-ins are really important when it comes to referral marketing because in marketing, we have a saying, top of mind. You always want to say top of mind with someone because as soon as they start to forget about you, they're going to forget to refer you a case. So
Mhm.
if you are trying to be successful in referral marketing, you have to take consistent actions to stay top of mind. And that does mean you have to follow up with the people you would like to refer business to you.
Yeah, again, it seems obvious, but it's not for a lot of people. What does a check-in actually look like? Can it be anything from a meeting to an email to a card? Are there specific ones that are better than others?
Yeah, so I get this question a lot. I actually created a list of 50 different things someone can do to check in and do something that will help them stay top of mind. So, if anyone wants that, they can visit the resources page on my website and download that. It's 50 examples of that. But a regular check in can be different for everyone. There's a variety of different kinds. You could have a in-person check-in. You could have an electronic check-in, and that could be something that you do with a text or an email. A check-in could be a phone call, and a check-in could also be something as simple as sending a gift. And so there are different kinds of check-ins that you can do. Really just depends on your time, your budget, and what feels comfortable for the attorney.
Yeah, that comfortable thing I think is key, right? Because we all have our own ways that we like to communicate, or maybe more importantly, ways we don't like to communicate. How often do you think that lawyers should check in with a referral source, or perhaps a target?
So I think it depends entirely on the kinds of referrals that an attorney has and whether or not that's a referral and the attorney isn't actively involved in the case or it's a true partnership on a case. Because for attorneys, there is a distinct difference between someone referring a case to another lawyer, they accept the case and they handle it on their own, versus the attorney who refers a case. And you see this a lot in personal injury. And they have a joint contract and have shared responsibility in the outcome of that case. So, for someone who is just referring a case out and they are not taking any actions in the case, then I recommend anywhere between 45 days and 60 days in between follow ups, and that should be okay. But for someone who is actively involved in the case or they have joint responsibility on that case, I recommend 30 to 45 days because a lot can happen. And you want to make sure you stay in touch with your referral partner, not only on the case, but also on that relationship because that one is more likely to continue to become more referrals because you are sharing joint responsibility on a case.
Yeah, how do you stay organized with this? I mean, people can be so busy. I mean, obviously, we're all busy, but lawyers can really, really busy trying to like manage that and remember all of that and how many days. Google Calendar, or like what is your kind of recommendation for keeping track?
So I am a firm believer if it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, my recommendation to every attorney that I work with is you need to calendar these actions or it's just not going to happen. You're going to get busy with the cases you're working on, with the law firm you're trying to run if you own your own law firm. And if it's not on the calendar, you're just going to forget about it.
Mhm.
So I recommend putting time on your calendar once a month or a certain amount of weeks in between and saying, okay, on this day, I'm dedicating X amount of time for my follow ups. Now, the other part of it is there is a follow up that has a very specific date on it. So a follow up doesn't always have to say, hey, Kevin, how's it going on the Bernard case that I sent your way? There are a variety of different ways to follow up without it always being about a case. And I'm a big believer in that because this is about a relationship. And the sooner you can create a relationship with someone and get to know them more than just the case that you referred their way, the stronger that relationship will be. So I think you should put it on your calendar on a regular basis, but also make sure you calendar really important dates. Does that referral partner have, I don't know, maybe a birthday coming up that you want to make sure you have in the calendar all the time? That should be in your calendar. Does your referral attorney have the anniversary of when they became a lawyer that you want to put on the calendar? Maybe it's the anniversary of when they started their law firm. There are different dates that you can put on your calendar to remind you that are special and unique to that referral partner. That could really help as well.
I think a lot of people, I know from myself from experience, it's always that how to start the conversation, how to start the email. Do you have any tips or great conversation starters that you would recommend?
Oh, yes. Okay. This is the part that comes really naturally for me, but maybe not for other people. So I'll share a couple of ideas that anyone can do. First is think about a conference. Maybe you're going to a conference or you just came back to a conference. Again, the follow up doesn't always have to be staying top of mind on a specific case. It's about creating a relationship. So if you're going to a conference, you could reach out and say, hey, Kevin, I'm going to the linear trial conference that's happening next month. Are you going to? Now that's a follow up, but it's a follow up about an event. You can also flip that. And if you go to, let's say, the linear trial conference and you come back, you could reach out and say, hey, Kevin, I just came back from the Linear Trial Conference and it was amazing. If you've never been, I would love to grab lunch, coffee, or hop on a Zoom and I can share with you my key takeaways and the experience I had at the event. And that's a follow-up that adds value and continues to strengthen the relationship. The other example I love to give is obviously, whoever is listening to this podcast listens to podcasts to grow their law firm. So if you hear a podcast episode that really resonates with you and you think it will resonate with another attorney too, share a podcast episode. Hey, Kevin, I just listened to this great podcast episode on attorney referrals, and I think you'll find a lot of value in it. Here's the link. Sharing that can be a great check in that adds value to your referral partner. The other one that I love is you don't have to do this all on your own. You can think about the network of people you have in your business. So maybe you can think of an expert you used on a case recently or a vendor you have a really good relationship with and say, hey, Kevin, I wanted to take a moment to introduce you to my friend Sam. Sam owns, I don't know, ABC Chiropractic. And I've had really great responses from my clients and an experience working with him. I would love to introduce you to him in case you can use him on any of your cases. Again, it's not following up on a case, it's adding value and helping your referral partner at the same time. And when you do that check in, the vendor or the expert you're introducing them to is also going to appreciate that introduction too. The obvious one is obviously updating them on a case because when you do that, you stay top of mind and you let them know you're doing a good job. But if you have a really big case, the other thing I recommend is involving them and seeing if they want to do like a strategy session. So if it's going to be a big 7-figure case, It would make sense to reach out and say, "Hey, Kevin, our office is going to do a strategy session on this case next week in the afternoon. Do you want to join us? We're talking about the experts we're going to hire and the most recent discovery responses that came in." Do they have to come? No. But again, it's about creating a stronger relationship. And the more times you can check in and add value or give them a reason to be excited to respond, the better. And the follow up doesn't have to be boring, it doesn't have to be about a case. It can be any one of those 5 or 6 examples I just gave you.
I can already hear people going, I don't have time for this, or this is my nightmare. I'm not good at this kind of stuff. Can you delegate this to staff, or do you really need to do it yourself for that personal touch?
You can delegate some of it, yes. So, for example, I gave you the idea earlier about maybe like an attorney birthday or a law firm anniversary. You can delegate that to someone on your team. It just means you have to put the date on the calendar and say, okay, Sarah, please check next month's calendar, see if I need to send out any birthday gifts or anniversary gifts. And if you can please help me with that, that's something you can delegate. And if you have an executive assistant, say you have an executive assistant who manages your emails, you can write up an email and say, okay, Joe, I wrote this email and I need you to send it out to these referral partners. And the email is just, hey, referral attorney, I listened to this podcast and I found great value in it. Wanted to share it with you too. And that admin can just copy and paste, and send it out as well. You don't have to do all those things on your own. You can certainly delegate it. And I recommend it if you have so many referral partners that having someone help you is what gets it done.
What do you say to those people who kind of like they just feel like they're bugging people? I mean, we all know we get emails all the time. I have a no soliciting sign on my gate. People still knock. We get bothered all the time. Like, what do you say to people when they have that objection?
I think that's only a valid objection if you're only bugging people and bugging them. The examples I just gave you, that's not bugging, that's creating a relationship, that's having conversations with people, it's adding value. If every time you follow up with your referral partner, you're saying, "Hey, do you have a case? Hey, do you have a case? Hey, do you have a case? Here's an update on this case." Well, that's a very transactional and shallow relationship.
Mhm.
I believe in creating relationships that are stronger and deeper and that will last a long time. And you probably feel like you're bugging someone if all you're doing is asking for a referral and giving an update on a case. But if you take it a step further and use some of the examples I mentioned earlier, that's not bugging anybody. That's having a conversation and creating a relationship. And so don't feel like that.
Don't feel like that. All right, that's good. I like that. How have you seen check-ins turn into new cases or deeper partnerships?
So I see it happen all the time because I'll work with an attorney and we'll come up with a system. And when I say, okay, you're going to follow up every 30 days. And then I meet with them and I say, did you do it? Did you do it? And they will laugh at me because 'cause they'll say, "Yeah," and then they referred me another case. And it just goes back to that first, comment I made earlier where I said, "It's about staying top of mind." When you stay top of mind, you're more likely to get a referral that comes in. So, I have clients who have success with that all the time because they are following up. But if you don't follow up, you're not going to get another referral and your relationship isn't going to be as strong and as beneficial.
Do you have a favorite story or that of something that worked, like a tactic that maybe, you were really happy with the result or you think works really well?
So I do. It's a story and a tactic. So I've had a couple of law firms now who have hired me specifically to create a follow up process. And it's personal injury attorneys that I'll do this for, where they have a lot of referrals and they don't have a follow up sequence and they're not really sure how to follow up. They'll pay me to come in and create this system for them. And so I did this for one client and we created a specific list of questions they would ask each time they were following up on a case. It's only 5. Keep it simple, but it's consistent. And it's the 5 questions you need to know to see how the case is moving along. And the rule was following up every 30 days because every 30 days is a month. It's a good amount of time for anything to happen on a case. And it's not too much time in between follow ups. And when I was creating this system, one of the follow ups, the attorney on the other side said, "Well, I don't have anything to give you guys right now, but thanks for calling and reminding me." And I'm not joking. The very next day, they called back and they said, "Well, guess what? I have a trucking case for you. 2 passengers just happened maybe an hour after you called, and I knew exactly to call this law firm." And
Mhm.
I went to my client and I was like, "See, that's all it is. You just have to check in and you just have to follow up." Would that referral partner have already sent them a case? Maybe, but they also have a lot of referral partners. They could have sent it to somebody else, but it was because that law firm had checked in less than 24 hours before and they got that case. And I love using that as an example because it doesn't happen all the time within 24 hours, but you are more likely to get a referral back than not if you don't follow up. So the key is just to follow up. And it's just a simple thing you can do that will help generate more cases into your firm and strengthen your relationships.
Other than Google Calendar or whatever calendar people use, are there other tools, technology that you feel is helpful? You don't have to say anything in specific, but just types of programs.
So the one program that I do bring up a lot is a company called Handwritten. And I can provide a link, we can put it in the show notes. Handwritten is a company where they created this little robot and it's got a pen at the bottom. And the pen robot signs every single card like a real person would, but it's a robot. And you can either have your handwritten signature created for each of those cards. So it is your signature, or you can use one of their fonts. And it helps speed up the process of handwritten notes that are
Wow.
actually done with a robot. And so I love to suggest handwritten to my clients because I'm a huge believer in handwritten cards. I think they're so special and no one does them anymore. I
Mhm.
save handwritten cards cuz I never want to throw them away. They're just so special to me. But you can send out what appears to be a handwritten card from you in your handwriting if you decide to do that and automate it by getting an account with handwritten and it does it for you. And you can certainly delegate that to an admin if you say, "Send Kevin a happy birthday message, use the same writing we do, and use my handwriting for it." And it comes in like any handwritten card you would receive. And it's really with a pen, it's just a robot, not your hand. And so I love handwritten because it speeds up that whole process and you can delegate it.
Wow, that I've never heard of that. That's really cool.
Mhm. Yeah, they're out of Arizona.
Wow, and I totally agree with you. I mean, I no one sends the handwritten cards anymore, and when you do get one, you're kinda like, "Oh," like, even a Christmas card these days, even when I get a Christmas card that someone wrote on, I'm always kind of taken aback because it's usually just Vistaprint photos of their kids or whatever, which is great, but it's just very generic, and it's the same thing, and I'm guilty of it too, but when you do get that handwritten one, it means something.
Yeah, it does. You don't throw that away because you know
Mhm.
someone took the time to send it. And if you create that, you can systematize everything where you say, "Hey, intake, if we rejected a case from blank referral attorney, send the thank you card that says, 'Sorry, this one didn't work out, but we really appreciate you thinking of us.'" Man, if I referred a case to a lawyer and they didn't take it, but I got a handwritten card that said, "Thank you for thinking of us," like how memorable would that be?
Very, very impactful. I totally agree. All right. Well, thanks for listening to today's episode. If you want to access Delisi's list of 50 referral activities to generate case referrals, head to firstcallfriday.com/resources, which we'll also link in the show notes here. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Leave us a review if you found today's episode helpful. We really appreciate it. Delisi, it's always great chatting with you. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast. And please share this episode with a peer who can also benefit from case referrals. For more information or to connect with me, Delisi Friday, visit firstcallfriday.com.